Hello, welcome to Healthy Body by Sophie. So I'm going to show you a warm-up. That's a little variation from the one I just did a moment ago. And this is going to be actually more consistent with head-to-toe warm-up as opposed to doing a specific side-to-side movement like I was doing earlier. Where I was incorporating a little bit of choreography move, which can be quite challenging for some people who have never done any choreography, you know, such as any kind of dancing or gymnastics or such a thing. Alright, so now we're going to do circular motion, forward and back, going back, and a forward. My thumbs are pointing back here. Now you're gonna switch and you're gonna point your fingers up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you're gonna have your thumbs forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is forward. All right, now you're gonna go your thumbs back down, okay? And you're gonna do the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That could be painful for some people who have shoulder issues, so maybe some of you might not want to do this one. If you have an impingement or some issue with your shoulder and rotator cuff, don't do this one with your thumb out. So maybe we should just leave it out for now, as it is aggravating the joints in here. All right, so I'm going to do circles. So you put your arms straight in front, open, both hands together, all the way as far as you can, open, palm of your hand first, open, face forward, and then down, push down to the floor or toward the floor. You can then tap your arms to the side of your body, and then back in. Gently. Okay, I'm gonna go back. So it's the same thing we did, we're just gonna do it in reverse. Here, and then you're gonna open here. Keep a slight bend in your knee, so you're not arching your back. That's gonna allow you to engage slightly your glute, or that really deep core, your pubic symphysis, so that everything stays aligned and nice and straight up and down. Keep your arms straight with this movement. Perfect. All right, shake it off. And next we're going to work with our hips. So for that, we could use the ball. We could do it standing. I'm gonna show you just like this first. So my knees are a bit more bent now, and I'm just gonna swing my hips side to side. So right for you, left, right, left, right, left. There's a slight tuck in your pelvis here, so that your hips are more lined up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Then we're going to do circle. Circle one way, circle the other way. Circle one way, and the other way. So right, left. Side. You could do 3 to 5 times, but I'm doing it only 3 times here. Now I'm going to take this to the sitting position on the ball, and I'm going to do the same thing. So for some of you would rather do it sitting, or you can't really be sitting on a chair for that one, because you need to have the chair be able to move. So this is actually very good for people who want to get these tissues massaged. The buttocks muscles, same with your inner thigh, especially good for pregnant women, but it's good for everybody. So here to that we're going to add forward, posterior tilt, anterior tilt. I'm going to go back and forth. Okay, so it looks like you're going forward and back, forward and back. So posterior tilt, anterior tilt, and go back and forth. 1, 2, 3, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. So I have to double it to do both sides. Now I'm going to start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My ball is a singing ball today. Some more brackets doing this. Or maybe it's just actually this ball, it's time to change it. So that's for the hip. Now we're going to do a little bit of a knee exercise. So this one is easy and it works well as long as you don't have any back issue, you know, flare up where you can't be in this position, but especially with your knees bent, again, it's gonna help. So here I'm looking at you, but I want to keep your neck level with your spine and just look like further down onto the floor. So 1, 2, don't lock the knees. 4, 5, and that's the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so from here, let's go down and stretch the back of the legs. Bring the leg out. Okay, go this far. You can use your ball. Just like that. So you would take the ball in front of you after you've done the knee exercise. Put your legs apart. And you could do this like this. And then you could stretch. And it's kind of a downward dog pose, except that your arms are not touching all the way onto the floor. So that can be a variation from a downward dog pose or you know, just a simple calf stretch, however you want to call it. So this is a good stretch actually. You can bend your knees and work on squats from this position with holding the ball here and back up. Okay, so keep your head in neutral, okay? And then down. And this is a good way to introduce squat exercises where you're still keeping your back straight, but you're not putting stress on your joint in your shoulders if you are not able to keep your arms up, for example. So it would go here. All right, you would do it without the ball, you could do it like this. This is great to stretch your calf muscles, believe it or not. You can have your hands on here if you need some support. If you're not quite ready to be without anything, like here, you can have the ball that gives you kind of a little bit of a support so that you're not falling. And if you do, while you're just on the mat, you just fall back like this, right? Not a big deal, but practice helps to gain more strength. So now from here, arms up and lift yourself up. Again, if you can't do it and go this far down to stretch the calves and your ankles, just go however far you can. Here, if that's all you can do, and back up. You can use a ball as support and then come back up. If you can keep your arms up, then keep your arms up. Perfect. Great. Alrighty, so I think this was a good warm-up. I am going to demonstrate the lunge with a few variations with the Libert equalizer. If you do not have one of these bar set, you definitely can use a chair or use a countertop, a table, anything you really can find in your home that is stable and sturdy, okay? So here I'm going to take a step and my hands are gonna go onto the bars just to give me gentle support. I'm not really grasping onto it and, you know, using this like for the life of me kind of thing. It's just to give me a little bit of support so that, you know, I can keep my posture better and it helps with the balance. Should I need it or should you need the help with it? And step forward and you're gonna go down. So So just like this. So as you bend, your knee here is at 90 degrees, so it should not go past like the toes. So more like here, it keeps you keeping your hips nice and square, and you're gonna squeeze your bum and you're gonna drop your heel down. So that's why if you have knees that are a little bit compromised and weak, or musculature that is weakened, as we all age, it seems to be a common thing, and so this really helps a lot. And as a result of using this bar, I can actually rest my forearms as I go down. That means I can use less or more my muscles of my lower extremity, just kind of gauging what's best for me to get progress but yet not injure myself. And then here you're gonna rotate that heel. So you don't want the heel pointing inward toward the center of your body. You want the heel pointing behind and then maybe a little bit to the outside. So since my left leg's in front, I'm making my right heel pointing a little bit to the right, just so that it keeps my hips square, and then squeeze the bottom and into my pubic symphysis area. All of that should be engaging. Okay, so you do that 3 to 5 times. 1, 2, square knee, 90 degree, 3, 4, and 5. And you're gonna switch side. Alright, so we can start from here and then take that step forward and down. So again, make sure you keep your knee over your ankle, not over your toes. 1, squeeze here, square hip, and that left heel now is pointing to the left because I have my right leg in front. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and keep your back nice and straight. Drop your shoulders down and take a step back. Or if it's too difficult, just take a step forward so you still have the support of the deliberate equilibrium. Okay, so that's for the lunge with the knee bent behind you. Now we're going to do it with the legs straight. So that's it's a step up, but at the same time it's just a different exercise, because then you just keep your legs straight. So you actually, it's not necessarily easier or more difficult. It's just a different stretch altogether, I'd say, even though it is in a split lunge kind of position. But because here you're going to focus more on the legs straight, it's gonna work more your psoas, iliopsoas muscle with the legs straight. So for example, if I demonstrate this leg so you can see better, in order to engage my iliopsoas muscle starts on the spine, in the front of your spine, in your anterior body of your vertebrae, and it attaches for my right side, for example, it will attach on the inside and through here of my femur. So, and also it will attach, another belly will attach into the inside of that hip here, hip bone of the ilium. So as a result, it has multifunction. It is the strongest muscle of your hip, and it is very necessary to have this muscle healthy in order to have a healthy back. Why many clients are not getting a result with their back pain is because the iliopsoas muscle wasn't released properly. So here you're focusing, I'm just gonna hold that stretch, and I'm gonna, so here I'm keeping my hips square. So you think that my hips are square, but they're not really. My hips are square if I pull and tuck that in. So again, my heel right here, since I have my right hand in front, my left heel, I'm pulling it out a bit, and I'm gonna lean down, keeping my torso straight, and trying to straighten my knee and pull back. So when you do that, you're feeling a stretch in front in your quadriceps muscle, in your rectus femoris in the front that attaches up here, but as well you're stretching what's in here and attaches behind your belly and into your thigh, your iliopsoas muscle. You have to have the stretch right like this with your legs straight in order to feel that stretch. And go however far you can. So if you see your knee's gonna go past your ankle, then just go a little bit forward, square. See, I could go a little bit more, and go down, stretch, and straighten the back leg. And relax in here. So we sit more over the hips and hold that. And if you can bring your arms away from the bar or whatever support you're using, go ahead and do that. You can even put your arms at the side and just resting out. And open. And now you're going to feel a bit more of a stretch if you have your arms up and you're able to do this. And keep your hips square. Good. And go back down. So you could go from here. The safest way is to bring the back leg forward and join with the one that was in front, the back leg. And I'm gonna switch. So I'm gonna turn this way so you still see the movement I'm doing. And now we're gonna work the right psoas. So there again, I'm going to drop my right leg back, move a bit my left leg a bit forward, make sure my hips are nice and square. And my right heel is gonna be pulled a bit out. That's gonna allow me really to get that Iliopsoas engaged. And then you're gonna reach forward, moving your foot so that as you go down into this lunge, your knee is always over your ankle and not past like this. Okay? Here, now relax your back over your hip. You don't want to be here. You want to be nice and over. Relax your shoulders. Square your hip. Keep pulling that in. And straighten the knee. So as you keep working on that, your belly might want to give and expand. Just pull it in. And sit over the hip. And breathe in and breathe out. And go down. Straighten that knee and square the hip to really feel it in here. And relax. Let go of the bar or support you're using. Open your hands out, thumbs pointing back, but your palm is face up toward the ceiling. And if you can challenge yourself and do this, bring your arms up, keep your back as straight as possible, and join both palms together. Straighten the arms as much as you can. Keep your hips square. If you see it's going off, fix it. And rest your shoulders above your hips and your arms nice and pulled up. And open. Relax your shoulders down. Perfect. And use your bar or support you have. And pull your heel back. You need to make sure that heel is pulled back, keeping everything else in check. Square hips, reposition, readjust anything you need to keep square here. Heel back to stretch your calf and Achilles tendon or gastrocnemius muscle. And go down. Elbows down and relaxed. And good. And come up. Perfect. So this is your lunge with the back leg straight or the back leg bent. The back leg bent engages your hamstrings a bit in quadricep, but it definitely will help bulk up or strengthen your hamstring if you do the lunge with a knee bent. And as you keep going up and down that movement, that's a good exercise to strengthen you all through here. If you go with your legs straight, it will stretch more here and still will give you strengthening through this lower extremity, just in a slight different way. Hope you're enjoying this exercise. If you have any question, comment down below. So these two exercises we did of the lunge variation with a knee bend and the legs straight as well. they are very much important. They are necessary and crucial to doing the exercises called the Cobra. You will see in one of the modules it will be talked about and demonstrated, so make sure you include this exercise I just did. You have to do this one before you can start practicing Cobra. Thank you. So here I am on the floor because there's another version, another variant to doing the lunge. I have some props here to show you variations as well. So because we're gonna be on our knee, so one knee will be back as I am stretching. So you could put a towel here that's gonna give some support to your knee joint so that it is not, you know, getting in trouble and hurting. So I also have some blocks, as you can see, yoga blocks. And this can help so that you don't have to go all the way down to the floor and lean the body straighter. You could even bring it this way, where now you're nice and tall and you can keep your hips square. The same thing we were doing standing, you can take this to the floor and do the same thing. And that's still gonna get you a stretch in here. You're not gonna have the leg all the way straight and stretched like I was showing where I was straightening the knee, but you could, if you go this way, then you would get the stretch. It's just a matter of, is it something you're comfortable with or not? So it can be more advanced in some way. It all depends as well on your flexibility, like you might already be feeling a stretch here, and if that's the case, then just stay with this. Keep your hips nice and square, use the block, use those bars. If that was enough for you to get a stretch, you could definitely, if you can't go this far, then you definitely can use this. If you have something like this, doesn't have to be this exactly, but you get the idea. So let me make sure I'm on the rack here, like that. And then you would do the same thing. Let me move my towel back more so that I'm standing into the frame of this. This is actually nice because you're nice and tall and you're keeping your body straight as opposed to being to the floor like this. It keeps a proper posture, and square your hips by having your heel bent like this, your knee bent and your heel as a support. It's allowing me to keep my hip here more in and back, so it's in the socket, as opposed to if I bring my foot down, then my leg wants to go forward, and it takes a lot more for the hip to stay square. And you go down and stretch there. Again, doing it this way, you can't get the same thing where you're really stretching the here through here into your quadricep and your Iliopsoas, but that's because when you're on the floor, unless you go all the way down into a full split, that's the only way you can get your leg straight. And there. So actually I'm more than the split here because I have a towel behind. Here I just did something that's actually quite advanced because I used the towel. So without the towel, then it's easier to touch the floor. And then you can do a stretch this way. If you did go that far and stretch into your hamstring, you go into a forward stretch. You use your bars here and stretch forward. And you get centered on the mat to give a good stretch to your hamstring. Just go like this and pull here gently. So by using these bars, they're very versatile. It gives you a lot of support, so you can always keep good posture. So I'm not heel slouching. It really keeps your joints and tissues working where they need to be. And it makes it a bit easier, but use that to your advantage. Okay, so here we're going to show you the stretch for the psoas muscle, iliopsoas, that starts in your spine. And since we're working on extending the spine and making it stronger and more relaxed, we definitely need to address the psoas. That starts in your spine, the front interior body of your spine, goes all the way through your stomach into the inside of your thigh in here, and also it attaches into the inside of this bone here, which is your ilium. So find yourself something comfortable. If you have one of these bars, then that's great, get one of these. Otherwise a simple chair will do the trick, or against the wall here. I don't have a wall, so I'm using this. So you need to make sure you keep your hips square. So here what I'm doing, I am pushing, so here I'm stretching my left thigh and I am pushing my left hip toward the front and keeping my feet aligned. I am about shoulder width and I'm right on the middle of the ball. I'm pushing my left hip into the ball, so I readjust a bit my other foot as I want to make sure it's flat on the floor. I could add the difficulty by not holding onto a bar and being barefoot, but right now the point is for me to show you the exercise and make it as easy as possible so that you're able to really feel the stretch in your iliopsoas muscle. You should feel it right in the front. Again, keep square your hip. Now we're going to add a little bit of a twist of your spine. Now I have my knee a little bit bent, but I could extend my knee, and then you're gonna readjust here to be really more over your hips, moving your thigh right on the very top as opposed to be more out like I was just a few seconds ago. So now it's making me taller over the ball. I'm feeling the stretch a bit more, and I'm going to twist. So I can use my bar, since I have this nice bar, and I'm gonna put both of my hands on it. You can use the armrest of a chair, or the back of a chair, and then you're gonna twist. So keep your shoulders, don't go like this, don't go like this, go like this. Nice and tall, as vertical as you can with your torso, and you're gonna twist, keeping your shoulders horizontal. If you don't have anyone to kind of guide you, or if you're unsure if your shoulders are not completely level horizontal, then have a mirror that you can look at yourself into to evaluate that detail. That's very important. And then try and relax the glute muscles so that you can really push down against the ball and twist. And sit back on the ball. Breathe. Breath in and exhale. Breathe in through your belly. And exhale. As you exhale, you relax onto the ball. Breathe in and exhale. The neck a little bit more and look back as far as you can. And rest your hip and relax your psoas. And square. And disengage your glutes so that you can really push down on the ball. And you're gonna come out of this, breathe in. And exhale. Come back to the side. And now this feels a lot more relaxed because I really kept trying to stay as vertical as I needed to be here, and this way as horizontal as I could while I was doing first this movement, which now feels so much easier to do, and then second while I added the rotation of my spine. Now I did this on one side. Now come out of this slowly. You're gonna feel a little bit tight on your left or whichever side you just did, and then you switch sides. It's that easy. If it's too difficult to just do that simple switch that I did, come out of it, walk it out, go for a walk up and down the hallway, and then go back to doing the other side. Make sure you take your time. And then here again, hips nice and square. Put your support to keep your balance with your free hand here, the opposite arm that you're working the thigh, and then just get comfortable over the ball. Make sure the ball is the right height. One thing I didn't mention while doing the left side, or the right, no, the left side, is that here, you don't want to be up here, for example. You want to, well, not too high. You want to be nice and relaxed, so it's kind of 90 degree here. A little bit higher would be okay, but you don't want to be too much lower. That would be quite difficult to find a ball that small. But I think this is a small size, so you should be fine. But here, really keep your hips square. So you should see your heel, my back leg, really pointing up towards the ceiling. My front knee here, toes pointing straight in front. And so they're both in the same plane, my back leg and my front leg. Now you're gonna push your right hip down into the into the ball. And you could use a pillow if you were on a massage table, for example. That's why I said that. And then you're gonna push down, keep your shoulders square, and just relax your hand on the bar for balance purpose. And push down. So we're gonna breathe in, exhale, and relax on the ball. Breathe in, and exhale. Relax on the ball. You can readjust it as your muscles start to relax. So you want to pivot from here into your joint below your hips actually. You don't want to arch in the back for that one because you're going to add a twist. And in order to stretch the psoas, which we talked that it starts on the front of your spine, you know, in the front, behind your organs, and it goes into your thigh here, the same side, on the inside, and as well attaches into the inside of this bone. You really need to do the posterior tilt here this way, as much as you can, so you take slack off your low back and minimize risk of injury. We do not want that. So now you're going to bring your right arm as you're stretching your right psoas, and you're going to twist to your left. Push that right hip into the ball, readjust your foot where you're gonna move more over the ball. Keep your body and torso as straight as possible, don't lean forward, straight as possible. Keep your shoulders level, horizontal again. Have someone guide you if you need to. And or look at yourself in the mirror to make sure you keep this horizontal and your torso as vertical as possible. Twist and breathe. And relax. And twist. Breathe. And twist. We're gonna hold it. One. Breathe in. Exhale. Two. Three. 4. And 5. And come out of it. Bring your arm, right arm out to the side. And push down onto the ball. Now you should feel a lot more relaxed. Push your belly in. Start to really get a pull in here. And relax your thighs. Otherwise, you're gonna lift your body up and not really relax into the ball, which then you're gonna get a lesser stretch of your Iliopsoas muscle. Hope you've been able to follow me along. You can repeat that on each side another two times, so that will be a total of 3 times on each side. So figure out what works for you, and I'm looking forward to comments and feedback down below, so don't forget to click. Now we definitely can start working on the Cobra pose. The Cobra pose as well can have modifications. This depends on your level of flexibility and general fitness. I chose to take my shoes off. However, you could keep your running shoes on. It would have to be a running shoe on, though, if you did choose to put some shoes. And so the Cobra, we're gonna start here on our stomach to work the back into extension. I'm using a pillow here to show you a modification that gives you a little bit of support throughout your hips and low back. and that can be very helpful if you have some restriction. I am choosing not to wear shoes right now because I really want to feel into the ground, basically ground myself, and feel I have a better stretch that way. So you start with your elbows on the floor, your hands are flat on the floor, and you start this way. Your feet, keep your hips nice and square, don't have your heels out, in and toes out. Be right over in this position, do a little bit of a tap here, and then relax your hips onto the pillow. I would say everyone could start with the pillow and then slowly go out of the pillow. It's a good way to just go through the different steps and prevent injury. So from here, you're going to move your arms near the pillow, and then you're going to slowly lift your body. Tuck your belly in. You're going to move your hips if you can, so that your hips are closer to your arms, allowing your shoulders to be square. Now here, look straight down, or keep your head straight so it aligns with your spine. Feet nicely planted here, which is why I like to do it bare feet. And then you're gonna arch your body. And it's still modified with a pillow here. It gives me a little bit of a height. If that's all you can do, then that's great. So here my left shoulder is pretty square, vertical, but my right one is not, right? That's okay. And pull back. And relax your knees. And straighten your knee, and that's gonna stretch more your back into extension. Now if you cannot do that, you can keep your forearm onto the floor, and you're gonna do the same, just extending this like this, if that's what you can do. If you can go further, start lifting your arms up, and instead of having your arms here, which is a full Cobra Stretch, there might even be a further advanced one, but you can just lift this way and look up. But it's still very good, and about shoulder width here. You can start here, and then slowly move your arms closer. Make sure you do that movement with your hips here and buttocks, which is called the pelvic tilt, posterior pelvic tilt, because as you do this, you're engaging your gluteal muscles here, and that's going to protect your back. If you don't engage your gluteal muscles, you're going to hurt your low back, and you don't want that, and you're going to put stress in your psoas. You want to stretch it, so you do pelvic tilt. So here, nice and strong in the hip, and keep that nice and strong, and arch your back, slowly bringing your head back. Make sure you look up toward the ceiling. Nice breath in, push your belly out, keep your hips nice and tight with your glutes engaging, and exhale. Keep your hips tight in the glutes. You don't want to let go of the glutes while you do that. Well, you can let go of the glutes as long as you keep your alignment in your psoas and in the bony structures the same. So it's possible to relax your glutes without changing too much and going like this, right? You don't want to do this. You want to stay up here, and you could relax if you're able to do that. Otherwise, don't stay as long. And slowly come out, bending your elbows down to neutral, and you repeat that 3 to 5 times. Same if you're doing this one. Here, nice deep breath in, and exhale. So first you start with your head neutral, and then slowly extend, tilting your pelvis, straightening your knees to get the full stretch of the cobra. Head down straight in neutral position, and slowly bend your knees and relax. position. So you could have done it as well, this without the pillow. I chose to keep the pillow in my case. You can sit up like this, or from here, you go like this into child pose. You could do a child pose stretch to stretch your back, and then you come up. Hope you enjoyed this video, and make sure to give me some feedback.